sexy little mama, just like her daddy taught her. She don't seem the same since she working.
Morning guys, so I've just got to the hospital. It's bright and early, it's about 7 AM and it was freezing outside. But the first thing is ward rounds, so I'm gonna drop off my things and head over there. Hey guys, so we just finished rounds. We're heading over to Zuchi's Cafe now. I'm gonna pick up some coffee for the doctors and I think we get one for ourselves. Hey guys, so I just got out of theatres, had some lunch. So we had ward rounds that began at 7 AM and they usually run until about 8:30 because some of the team have to go off to theatres and start the operations. And in theatres today, there were 2 rooms allocated to the upper gastrointestinal team. So in one of the theatres, they were doing a Nissen fundoplication, which is basically wrapping the fundus of the stomach around the esophagus to create a mechanical sphincter. The lower esophageal sphincter is a physiological one, and so by doing this, this can help tighten it. It's used in patients with volume overload GORD. Gastroesophageal reflux disease is when you have acid that comes up your esophagus, and a lot of people like you or I would have experienced the symptoms of a bit of chest pain, a bit of heartburn, and that can be normal for a lot of us, but if you have GORD, that's generally quite bad. And the reason why GORD is bad is because it can cause metaplasia of the cells around the lower esophageal junction, and eventually this can lead to something called Barrett's esophagus, and this is a risk factor for dysplastic changes. But that was one of the operations. And in the other room, there was a liver resection. This was indicated because there was a few tumors in the liver of this patient, and they needed to take out specific zones of the liver to resect that tumor. So for us medical students, generally how the day is run, if there is a list of patients to see in the theatre, we'll have ward rounds in the morning and then theatres through the day, and we're able to go in and watch any procedures that we think are interesting or important. And when we're in the theatre rooms, generally the medical student will be sitting away, not causing any obstruction or causing any problems for the team, and we'll be able to watch and observe what's happening. Sometimes the surgeons will ask you questions during the procedure to make sure that you're following along, and depending on the number of team members available, then you might be able to scrub in for one of the operations. And as part of surgical attire, we need to be wearing these blue scrubs, little booties to cover our shoes, and then a hair cover and a mask. And right now it's about 12 o'clock. There's still some procedures that will be happening in the afternoon. I think the next one starts at about 1 PM. So I'm going to do a little bit of revision on the surgery coming up, and then I'll make my way over.
Nobody calls except
So I just finished at the hospital and I went back to theatre, but they had a delay in the operation, so there was sort of like an overlap period and I didn't want to stick around for too long, so I ended up heading early. So I'm going to head back home now and I'm going to work on my MD project, which is a research assignment. Alright guys, so I just finished a training session and I'm feeling pretty hungry, but I checked the pantry and there's nothing that's like super quick or easy to make. But you really want to be eating after a workout, especially if you're doing any sort of resistance training. The period after the workout is when your body wants to grow, wants to break down the muscle and put it back on. So it's important to get some protein and some carbohydrates into you. So I'm gonna get some food and do just that.
what's next for us? Kissing on your neck like Dracula, I need some.
Alright guys, so I'm back in the car. I picked up the 2 burgers. I got a beef one and I got a chicken one. So I'm keen to get stuck into this. And then I will finally get on to doing some study.
Maybe we could see the seaside. Wanna kick it with you. I can't.
Alright guys, so I had a nap and it was excellent, but it's now 8 p.m. and I'm back on my computer. I'm gonna work on my MD project for an hour or so. So I'm involved in this sort of prospective cohort study where we're recruiting patients and then we're looking at those patient data sets later on and trying to analyze different subsets of the data. So I'll keep picking away at it, and then we have another early start at 8 o'clock tomorrow.
It's getting late, what you wanna do? It's already 2:30. And baby girl, just to tell the truth, I don't really like the sky color blue. With that said, who you on the phone when you type in? Is your man at home? Y'all be fighting. Girl, you need something new. And I said,
Hey guys, so I just arrived at the hospital and I'm making my way over to meet the team. I'm going to start ward rounds. Nice knowing and traveling lots while I'm around.
I can't even lie. Cupid hit me with a bullseye. Hit hard, so I wanted to cry. Girl, I wanna be with you.
Seeing shots, Mr. Nas still get taken by surprise. Take a lot, I forgot just how much it hurt inside. Who said why? I forgot, shouldn't go there. Love me now, flower up, petals falling. Seeing shots, Mr. Nas still get taken by surprise. Take a lot, I forgot just how much it hurt inside. Who said why?
So it is now almost 4 p.m. and what you would have saw from today is that in the mornings we had rounds, but what you wouldn't have saw is that Grace and I got our mask fit tested. So that basically means that they'll look if there's any air leakage if you're wearing an N95 mask, and you can determine which type of mask is best suited for your face shape. So I learned that the Aura N95 ventilator mask is the best one for me. And after rounds, there was actually no theatre list for my team, nor was there any clinics on during the day. So that means that Grace and I, the medical students, we had a little bit of free time. So I did a little bit of study after rounds, and then I was also preparing for a long case that I was presenting to one of the residents at 1 o'clock. It's a type of clinical examination where it's a long form way of testing a candidate's ability to take a physical exam, to take a good thorough history, and to synthesize that information to create an issues list and to develop a plan for the patient. So as part of our requirements for completion of the surgical term, we have to present a bunch of different long cases, and it's a really good way to practice communication with the patient, also putting together ideas.
No one got my back when the shit turned cold. Yeah, I know they only love me for my come up. They'll disappear when I'm feeling low. And why do they play with me? You should hear the things that they say to me. Say they love me, but I know they throwing shade on me. So I only make friends in the summer. Hold up a second, I heard this before. Which one of you wanna diss me more? And I couldn't say why I dissed him for, but I know when I'm gone, they're gonna miss me more. I've been living these lives back to back. I followed the rails, now I'm back on track. I can see a thing like it's black on black, and I don't need friends, I need to stack these racks.
Seeing shots, Mr. Nas still get taken by surprise. Take a lot, I forgot just how much it hurt inside. Who said why? I forgot, shouldn't go there. Love me now, flower up, petals falling. Seeing shots.
Before we move on, I wanted to quickly talk to you about today's video sponsor, LG. So LG kindly sent me over this laptop, which is the LG Gram 16-inch version, and you would have seen me using it throughout the video when it came to studying or doing any sort of assignments when I was in between wards and theatres. I partnered up with LG a few months back, and I wanted to talk to you about why this laptop has been a complete game changer when it comes to having a device that is both lightweight and portable, but also extremely powerful. At first, after having used a 13-inch laptop for quite a long time, I was a bit hesitant to try out a 16-inch laptop because I thought it was going to be too clunky, too heavy, just too difficult to carry around. But shortly after using this thing, I found that that was definitely not the case. I honestly found the Gram easier to carry around because not only was it lighter than my previous laptop, coming in at only like 1.2 kilos, but it's also got this really sleek form factor which makes it easy to slide in and out of my bag. And speaking of aesthetics, I love the minimal design of the laptop and the matte black finish, which really complements the rest of my other tech. However, if you're not a big fan of black, then the Gram also comes in a white version. And if you prefer a smaller laptop, there's a 14-inch version and also a 17-inch version if you're looking for even more screen real estate. As a medical student and also a part-time YouTuber, I really enjoyed using the Gram because it is extremely lightweight without sacrificing speed. During my med school rotations, I don't always have access to my home desk setup, and I often need to study or edit videos while I'm outside. This 16-inch model is equipped with the latest Intel i7 processor, 512 gigs of SSD, and 16 gigs of RAM, meaning that it can handle video editing when I need to create content, statistical data analysis software when I'm trying to work on a research project, and it just flies through any of my daily computer needs. Another big concern about laptops is battery life. During my last rotation, I was placed in a small rural town, which is a 6-hour train trip away. And during the trip, I was using the Gram the whole time to study or to watch Netflix. And at the end of the 6-hour trip, there was still 45% battery life left. So if you need a device that's going to last you a 10 to 12 hour working day, then the Gram definitely has you covered. But most days aren't productive 8 to 12 hour study days. And as students, it's part of our nature to procrastinate. For me, that's either playing video games or watching Netflix, and I really enjoy using the Gram for both of those things. Some of you may know that I'm a big League of Legends fan, and I played a game on the Gram when I was at my friend's house with very minimal performance issues, and I also love using the laptop to watch movies or my favorite TV shows because the 2560 by 1600 resolution display is super crisp with a really dynamic color profile, meaning that it picks up all those fine details and just makes everything pop. So big thanks again to LG for sending this over, and if you wanted to read up about the full LG Gram lineup or check out where you can get your hands on one of them, then be sure to click on the links in the description below. So if there's one thing that takes getting used to about surgery rotation and being on surgery in general, it's the early morning wake-ups and walking to the bus when it's freezing cold outside. But I shouldn't really be complaining because 8 AM is considered a late ward round. I know some of my friends have started as early as 5:30 and 6 AM. So you got to get up bright and early compared to, say, internal medicine, which usually starts at about 8:39, which is a challenge for me because I'm definitely not a morning person.
While in time, this will find, could be taken by surprise. Hope was always my demise. Guess we'll find something in another life. You don't really have to say that. Lost lightning when it...
Hey guys, so picked up the trusty Subway, the classic, got the pizza melt. I'm on a quick lunch break. I finished up with a study session in the morning. I was covering esophageal stents. I got asked a question about it on the rounds and I didn't really know anything about it, so I've been assigned a mini task to review the topic and then I'll present it after rounds tomorrow. So that's a good way that us medical students can learn. But right now I've got about 15 minutes and then we have afternoon clinic, which starts at 12:30. Currently Sydney's on a temporary lockdown, so a lot of the patients might not be able to come in, which will mean that we'll be doing a little bit of telehealth and a little bit of inpatient consults. And that will run for a few hours or until all the patient list has been seen through.
Still get taken by surprise. Take a lot, I forgot just how much it hurt inside. Who said why? I forgot, shouldn't go there. Love me now, flower up, hair to falling. Saying shots, miss or not, still get taken by surprise. Take a lot, I forgot just how much it hurt inside. Who said why? I forgot, shouldn't go there.
Clinic was a quick one today. There wasn't that many patients that came into hospital, so we got a bit of an early mark. I have an online teaching session at 3 o'clock. We're doing a respiratory revision session, and that's starting in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to quickly join the Zoom call now.
All I ever heard was good things about you in your ways. All I ever do is...
Alright guys, so it's a little bit later in the evening. It was about 8 PM. I ended up going through a presentation that we have due on Friday. So we have to present a grand rounds as a group. So in medicine, grand rounds is this way of getting together doctors, or in our case, students and doctors, and we present a case for one of the patients. So this week's theme is colorectal cancer. So we found a patient that had colorectal cancer, and we're talking through different aspects of the presenting complaint, the diagnosis, the imaging. My section is the pathophysiology and the pathology, and then we go into management. So right now I'm doing a leg session, gonna start on some squats. I've got Scott in the background doing shoulders. So we get onto the workout and then relax for the rest of the time. Alright, morning guys. So it's about 8:30 at the moment, and we just finished rounds. The Krispy Kreme donuts that you saw before was because it's our last day of surgery being in the hospital. So Grace and I bought some donuts. Well, Grace bought them and I've transferred her and bought some donuts for the team as like a thank you for all the teaching and the help that they provided through the rotation. So right now we have a little bit of free time. The theatre list will be starting off at about 9 a.m. So we will head over there soon, get all gowned up, and then we'll watch some surgeries and hopefully get involved. We'll have to see how it goes for the rest of the morning. Then we also have a few sign-off sheets to get filled out. We have our end of term attachment form. It's basically like an appraisal form saying if we did good enough while being on the rotation, and then a few other tick-offs along the way. Everyone else in my space can get the gone out. You stole my heart when it broke on the floor. Finished up back at the hospital, and it's about 4 o'clock right now. I went into theatres in the afternoon and saw an umbilical hernia repair. So if you don't know what a hernia is, it's basically a protrusion of an organ through a place that it's meant to normally be enclosed within. So for an umbilical hernia, it's when parts of the bowel protruding out through the abdominal wall, and that could be because the abdominal wall has weakened due to a bunch of different factors. And so the surgery really involves reducing that hernia, putting it back down into its original place, and also to put a mesh on the site of the hernia to strengthen the abdominal wall so it won't recur. So that's it for all the hospital work as part of the surgical rotation. Tomorrow's a teaching day. Usually we'd have to go in for it, but a lot of our classes have been online recently, so it will just be through Zoom. So today is a Thursday, and that's usually my regular uploading day for YouTube, or at least the day that I try to upload to YouTube. So a video went live on the channel about 2 hours ago. So I've got my laptop here. I'm going to go through all your comments. I'll reply to any of your questions and heart the ones that I like. So I'll be back in a minute.
Her body's gold like September. She burns through the night like an ember. And all those things we try forgetting, I remember.
Finished going through all the comments, and thanks so much for all the kind messages. You guys are a super positive community, which I'm really grateful for, and I'm just super glad to see that my videos have in some way had a positive impact. I'll probably just do a little bit of practice for my Grand Rounds presentation tomorrow, and then I'm planning to watch some Atypical with my girlfriend Deb. It's this quirky little TV show that's super funny, and if you haven't seen it already, be sure to check it out.
Sunny day dreams and we up now. Vodka lemonade, I serve it up, it goes down. 75 degrees in a dope sound. All you need to live fine, to live fine.
Morning guys, so it is about 9:30 and I have my Grand Rounds presentation starting in about 5 minutes, so wish me luck. So this part's just quickly to cover some of the molecular mechanisms and the pathology of colorectal cancer in general. It generally follows one of three patterns. It can be sporadic. You've also got true inherited predisposition. Do these patients have colonic polyps as a disease manifestation? If they do, you want to be thinking about diseases such as familial adenomatous polyposis. And if you don't see polyps, then you want to be thinking about Lynch syndrome. And then in some cases, you'll just have a familial cause. And this is generally increased by about 2 times if you have one single first degree relative. Thanks so much for all the help. Thank you.
The waves crash down and we feel them. Say here's to the nights we steal them.
Grand rounds are all finished, so we had one group presenting a neurosurgery case at 8:30, and then our group presented our colorectal cancer patient at 9:30. Since then I've just been sort of bludging on YouTube, so it's now about midday. And I'm chilling with some of the Penguin boys. So we got big old Bruce here, and some new guys. We've got Bullet, and we've got Bean. And I get these penguins from Minnesota, because a lot of you guys ask me. But we don't have any teaching for the rest of the afternoon, so that will kind of wrap up the end of our surgical rotation in its full. And so I'm going to end the vlog here, and big thanks again to LG for sponsoring this video. They have an awesome lineup of laptops with the LG Gram, so be sure to click the links in the description below to check them out. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more content like this. I hope you guys are having a really good morning, afternoon, or evening, or whatever time or wherever you are watching this video. And until next time, this was Sebastian and Bruce. Stay sharp.
I'll be gone till November, going through the letters that I send her, and thinking about the moment that I met her. Well, I'll be back in due
time. This is like so much harder than it needs to be, because I have someone that's sitting there silently.